What is going on, everybody? Is your girl Martha D. Staub, owner of MDMC Entertainment, MDMC Authentics, and MDMC Talent. But I do not own Facts of Life. That is for Facts of Life Filming. What is going on, everybody? Season 4. Let me share this real quick. Oh my god. I've been going through some things over here. I want to talk about it real quick. See if we have anyone here. All right, we do have viewers. Hi, what's going on, everybody? Oh man, it has been a ride. Oh man, it's been tough. It's been crazy, but we're here. This is MDMC Headquarters, as you can see. I got dressed up today. I actually had a podcast interview, and I have another one coming up here in a little bit, and I'm just sitting here. I don't want to work. There is something I need to be doing. There's actually a lot of things I need to be doing, but I haven't done them. Because things have just been, busy. I don't know. The things on my list, and like right now I'm having clients call me. It's been crazy. Getting settled into headquarters has been crazy. We have MDMC Authentics Pops here. Just getting into the rhythm and the flow of things has been interesting. Let me send this to Eddie real quick. So yeah, see if you can post that. All right. So season 4 of Business Building and Beyond, I really wanted to really think about what I was going to talk about this season. I didn't hit a lot of things last season, and so that list kind of transferred over into season 4. Season 3 was a little staggered. We were kind of all over the place. Things have been interesting on my end. I kind of want to talk about some personal things I've been facing. I think it was probably the last episode of last season. I talked about I had some medical issues and stuff. So yeah, I'll talk about it. I had anemia. I think no, I don't know. I had right around Paramorphicon, I had to get on some iron pills, which was August. My blood was really, really low. After LAX Fan Fest, literally 2 days after, I had to have a blood transfusion. Then I got referred to an oncologist, and I had to do iron infusions. So that was tough. And, I've just been dealing with that, trying to get normal. I just did a whole new blood panel. So, yeah, it's been interesting. Hold on a minute here. Downloading from YouTube. This is my life. I literally start a conversation and then I can't work and stuff. So yeah, I've been going through that. I'm waiting for this blood panel's response, the results of that. And then the other thing I've been dealing with, and I haven't told a lot of people about it, but I'm in the middle of getting it treated, and it's one of the reasons why I haven't really wanted to do a lot of podcasting or speaking or anything, is because I'm dealing with chronic pain in my face called trigeminella neuralgia. It actually affects, it's the branch of nerves in your face. And it starts here and then it branches out. And so I have a hard time talking. I have a hard time. I have pressure. I start tearing up. It's really weird. It affects, I can't eat sometimes. Sometimes I'll get really like a stinging pain when I bite down onto something. And it's just really difficult right now. Even right now, I have a little tingling right now. I'm trying to get through all of these interviews I got to do today, which makes you wonder, why did you even get on video? But like I said, I have work to do that I didn't want to do, but I also wanted to launch season 4 of Business Building and Beyond and kind of show you my setup here. So yeah, I've been going through some things. It's just trying to, power through this chronic pain, because I've been dealing with this on and off for 10 years, but it's never gotten as severe as it is right now. And so I'm back to the doctor, I think, next week. And so it's been interesting. It's been a really rough road, but I'm still working. I'm still getting stuff done. I realized, I think after last year, and I told my interns this, that I've had to get a planner, physical planner, and write things down. Like, I have all my shit down for the week, all the shit I gotta do. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me getting older or just too many things on my plate. But yeah, I've been trying to get that done. But I wanted to kick off this episode. Oh, I want to show this off. Faxfella founder Alex gave me this for Christmas. If you guys are a Blue Bloods fan, it's the NYPD police shield, and it's the cup from there. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know. It's been an interesting time, but season 4, here we are, and I'm excited to get into this. So I want to talk about getting fired a la James Gunn style. I was looking at the calendar, and a couple things are coming around, and I went through something pretty difficult last year. I had been working with a really big client, and I really loved what I did. I really made some pretty amazing improvements to this company. And, so much hard work for almost 2 years. And the things I was working on contributed to sales in a very big way. It really, I really loved the work that I did. I really did. It was so much fun. It was one of those things that I was getting paid a lot to do what I love. And, when I got into making my own company and doing all this stuff, like, that's the point. Get clients you love to work with. It doesn't feel like work. You're creating, you're increasing that bottom line. You're effective. Everything is going right. And then James Gunn comes into the picture and says, you're not doing anything right. All this is crap. Blah, blah, blah. You're done. And I'm just sitting here like, what? Hold on a second. Okay. I don't know what's going on. YouTube, for whatever reason, is being funky and my staff can't work, but whatever. Anyway, it's probably the hit professionally that you don't want to get. And I worked extremely hard for this company. I gave it my all. I created a unique CRM system for these guys. Like, I did everything. I think it was probably my best work yet. And the problem with change in leadership is there's nothing you can do to stop it. There is nothing you can do, in honesty, to save your job. I think I saw that right before I got let go when I was unemployed for 233 days. We saw a new person come in and we saw how much money that person was getting paid. And we're like, this company doesn't have that money to pay that person. Maybe someone's job's on the line. And I think that was me. I think I was a sacrificial lamb in that situation, because I was quote unquote terminated, but with no excuse or no reason. Especially since my department made money. My department's a multi-million-dollar department. Like, you don't cut off the marketing. Like, it's stupid. So one of the things about this last job that I had, this last client that I had, myself and marketing director and another consultant, all of us together, we hit above the goal. There was, I think, a $25 million goal. We surpassed it. And it really sucks when you have someone who comes in who doesn't know anything and doesn't know how a company works, doesn't come from the industry that you're working in, doesn't understand it fully, and says, you guys are crap, you're done. You're done. And I don't have the answer as to how you can combat that. I think the first thing people think of when someone new comes in, you roll out the red carpet for them, make them feel welcome, make them, code, you kiss their ass. I don't do that. I have never done that. I have never kissed anyone's ass to get ahead in my career. And sometimes I wonder, is that why I haven't passed my own goals? Because I don't kiss anyone's ass? Like, it makes me wonder sometimes, because I see people that do it, and I've called people out that do it, and it's just not me. And I tried, I try to be really nice. I know that my counterpart consultant who I work with, I won't mention who they are, but they're like, Martha, I've known you for years. You're kind of a bitch. And I'm like, first of all, no. When it comes to working with people and it's the first impression, I'm going to be as nice as can be, but I'm not going to go above and beyond and kiss someone's ass. And they're like, that's fine, just be nice. And I was like, fuck you. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And so I welcome this person. I told them, hey, this is what we're doing. I actually went above and beyond. I'm not actually supposed to ever be in an office unless I'm called in for like a meeting. As a consultant, I am not required to be on the job from 9 to 5. Like, I'm just, I did not charge this company that time because I was trying to hold on to the job. And so at this company, this new person comes in. Basically what they do is, quote unquote, make you feel welcome, but that's not the point. The point is to incubate your brain, get all your knowledge, and then softly let you go. Which was bullshit for me. I felt like My other consultant friend, who is a little bit superior to me in the situation, I told them, I'm like, yo, this person is asking me to come into the office twice a week from 9 to 5. And they said, just do it. And I said, I'm not getting paid extra for that. Like, that's not my job. And he said, just do it, be nice, hold on to your job, is basically what the instructions were. And if anything is funky, let me know. And so this person was like, I swear, I hope karma bites this bitch in the ass, but she was like nice to my face, but like I could hear her talking shit in the hall. And I'm like, this is not the impression you want to be leaving with me. Like, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you move into that transition. I've been here for 2+ years. I've contributed to $1 million successes. Maybe you should be a little nicer to me. And I wanted to say that, but again, you can't, because then what? Then, again, this is me trying to hold on to several G's of a paycheck. And I had to like grit my teeth and just go through it. And I hit up my consultant friend and I'm like, yo, she's saying this, she's saying that. She started shit behind my back. Like, I could hear her in the hall. And he's like, just power through. Anyway, so I go and I do this job. I think it was like Tuesdays and Thursdays. And this was before I had Eddie taking over an account that I had to work on every day, because I was literally in her office working on that stuff, but I'm still a consultant with my stuff. I'm still trying to work on my other stuff. And like, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I'm a consultant. I have other clients. I have shit I got to take care of. I'll do with you in a minute, And, like, I'm like, I have to hold on to, and some people would be like, well, that's the bigger paycheck, pay attention to them. And I'm like, yeah, but this is like urgent. Like, this is breaking. I have to take care of this. And it's hard to juggle that. And I had a really hard time doing that. And I spent a month in the office twice a week doing like ridiculous work that didn't need to be done. And she's like, well, you guys weren't doing this, you guys weren't doing that. I said, yeah, but that doesn't matter. This wasn't contributing money. This is like, and like, this big machine I built for this company is generating money. You need to learn how to use this. And, we did a couple webinars, we did a couple one-on-ones. And her attitude was just so smug. And I remember when I launched, we all had to present what we wanted to do for the following year, what were the kind of marketing things we wanted to do. And I remember that after that presentation, she asked me for my presentation, and I was like, why? Like, I didn't want to give it away because that's my work, These are my ideas. You can't just take my ideas. Like, I don't know if I'm still employed. So I kind of hesitated giving that presentation to her. And I told my consultant friend, I was like, what do I do? I don't know if I still have a job, and she wants my ideas. Like, what do you do? And at this point, he's like, hold on to your job. Just give it to her. Just give it to her. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I deal with this bullshit for about a month. At the end of the month, it was the end of February, February of last year, she's like, all right, so here's the thing. We don't want to work with consultants anymore. I said, that's dumb, because we've, contributed X amount of millions of dollars. You kind of need us. You don't know what you're doing. That doesn't make sense to me. And she said, it may not make sense, but this is what we're doing. I said, okay. And so I had actually found out she had gotten access to all of the accounts and everything. And one of the things that popped off was I saw that there was a job listing for a marketing coordinator at that company. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, and so I hit up my consultant friend again. He's the senior to this project. And I'm like, hey, what the fuck? And he is like, what are you talking about? And I said, this. And he was like, oh shit. And I said, what is this? Like, what do you know? And he was like, they probably should have talked to you before they put that up. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what's happening? And they're like, yeah, they really want to have more of an in-house marketing team. I said, that's stupid. It costs much more money to pay a salary of this much and benefits for this much. Like, it just made no sense. For as much money as we were doing and as cheaper of the option that we were still not favored. Well, I wasn't. I think he kept his job, but that's beside the point. I got really upset. About it. And I was like, you need to figure out what's happening here. Because like, you're over here telling me to hold on to my job, and it looks like it's gone. Like, why don't I need to spend all my time here helping these people if I'm not part of the plan? Like, the reason I'm here is to help transition the next person in, not help them succeed. Like, come on now, what the hell is this? And so I was really upset. And so the next day, when I had to go into the office, she's like, yeah, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And she's like, yeah, so you may have noticed this post went out on LinkedIn about this position. I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, we're giving you the opportunity to apply for this position. And I was like, I was already pissed, but that made it worse. And I said, what do you mean an opportunity? What are you talking about? She's like, well, we want you here full time. I said, well, if you want me here full time, why am I applying? And she was like, well, it's just standard procedure, but we're giving you the opportunity to fight for your spot, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, first of all, let me be frankly clear. I'm a 10-year marketing veteran. A marketing coordinator position pays about anywhere between $30,000 and $40,000. So I was making way more than that. Even at the last job I had before I became an entrepreneur. But the thing that pissed me off was they're giving me, quote unquote, the opportunity and also the position of coordinator. And I said, I got a coordinator position when I was fresh out of college, like fresh into my marketing career. I am not a coordinator type. I am a director. I am a CEO. I am a CMO. I am a marketing director, which is your title. I said, I am on that level. I am on the 6-figure level. I am not on the mediocre 30 to 40,000. Absolutely not. No. And I said, this is honestly, this is really insulting. And you don't even know me. And I've been here trying to, facilitate this transfer. I've been trying to help you understand this company because you're not from this industry. You're not from, I literally planned it out. I'm like, I am more knowledgeable in this area than you are. And I am here to help you. And I think it's insulting to even try to kick me out because what are you going to do after this? And she was like, well, that's what we have planned. Unless you want to give us, a proposal, but you need to be in the office a little bit more. And I was like, they're like, give us a proposal of your cost. And I was like, all right. So I went back to my consultant friend. I was like, this is what went down. And this is what they're requesting from me now. And he's like, give them a proposal. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what's happening. This is like, I was told we were going to hold on to our jobs. I was told by the owner that this is not, like, you're not losing your job. Like, this is the complete opposite. I said, you need to talk to somebody ASAP so that I don't get fired. And so I kind of left my fate in the hands of someone else that was far more superior, that had a better relationship with the owner, that had these conversations that guaranteed us this whole situation not to happen. And so that led to him having a conversation with the owner and saying, look, this is not right. And the owner said, look, we told her she can bring in a proposal. Let's see what she brings to the table. And he was like, she's already like a cheaper option as a manager. Like, if she drops that down any further, she's just going to be a coordinator that doesn't come in all the time. And he was like, well, let's see what she proposes. And so that's what I ended up doing. I think I cut my cost in half, and I think I would come into the office twice a week just to hold on to like that chunk of change, because I was doing a lot. I was managing 3 social media companies. Well, not companies, but the social media of 3 companies in this big company. And I was managing the CRM, I was managing the email marketing campaigns, I was managing um, the digital ads. I was doing a lot. Like, it was a full on job. So I went and gave that to them. I was like, here you go. She's like, well, let me send it to the owner. And so they did. They had their talk. And so I think at the end of the day, I was working on some bullshit. I forget what she had me doing. And she's like, yeah, so I talked to the owner and I think, we're gonna let you go. And I was like, you're stupid. I was like, you are so stupid to do this. You don't know anything about this industry. Like, I am literally an asset to you. And, this was a big time in this company. Like, the original owner had switched hands to another owner. The marketing director left because of those changes. And then, you know, um, the change in leadership can be so detrimental to a company. And I don't understand how, and I have another example of this, but how an owner can switch hands and say, yeah, this is the way it's going to go. But then they see the internal combustion engine of the company just explode. And they have sitting here like, why did this happen? It's so weird. But the thing that I noticed was, you know, and again, this is probably a fault of my own, but when I saw this director come in, she was kissing everyone's ass. She was kissing like the freaking vice president, the new vice president, just saying all these great things about this person. She didn't even know this person. I knew this person more than she did. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, shut up. Like, what are you doing? And so that was the difference that I saw. Like, she was overly kissing. Like, I'm sure her jaw hurt after a while, but like, I just don't play that game. And I'm like, maybe that's my fault. And maybe that's how you overcome the changes of leadership, because you could be the best in the game and still get fired. That's I will call myself Superman in this case. I got Henry Cavill. Like, and on top of that, some of my parting words were like, hey, I made this CRM. I worked with a designer, a coder. If something happens to this, the company that this is based off of will not help you because it's custom. You're going to be in trouble if something happens. And so, and the sad part is when I left, when I was let go from this company as a consultant, that really hit me in the gut. And I remember going to the owner and being like, hey man, thank you for the time. Appreciate it. He was like, yeah, no problem. And one of the salespeople was like, oh, Martha, I need to talk to you about something. And I was like, oh, I guess you didn't hear. I'm done. Like, I'm not here anymore, but thank you so much. And he was like, no, like right in front of the owner. And I was like, yeah, man. I don't know, keep in touch. Here's my personal email if you need help with sales or something. Like, yeah, I can definitely like consult or whatever, like give you some pointers or whatever. And they were like, no. And so my departure, and I noticed this at any time where I have unceremoniously been let go somewhere, which has been like twice, twice as an actual employee, twice as a actual consultant, because I never get fired. It's always due to circumstance. And this was a funky circumstance. But the entire company like feels like some type of way about it. They're like, how could you let her go? She was so good at what she did. She brought in X, Y, and Z. She did this, this, and this. And so I remember at the first company, the termination where that happened, there was like, it was unruly how the staff like freaked at the situation. And they were like, you let her go. Like that's a bad sign. Like why would you do that? And they never filled my position, I don't think. I don't know. I didn't care to keep up with those guys. And then the business coach really didn't care. There wasn't really a ripple effect. But in this case, as a consultant and not an actual employee, people were surprised. And I still kept in touch with a lot of those people after the fact, excuse me. After the fact, people would hit me up. They're like, oh my God, like, do you know what she's making us do? And I'm like, oh no, what? And they would tell me these horror stories of what's happening inside their company. And I'm like, wow, that's really sad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, I had employees asking me, is there any way you can talk to the owner and come back? Is there any way that maybe something we can do? I'm like, no, man, it's done. You have new leadership. New leadership doesn't want me. I think my consultant friend held on to his spot because he did offer something a little bit more that kept him a little bit more valuable than myself. And, honestly, that really hit a chord with me. And I think, as we set up headquarters and as we are really, I'm attempting to put my nose to the ground and really, really work and deliver some new things that we haven't, like new services that we haven't offered, and something else I'm working on that can drive a little bit more money to us that could be valuable to entrepreneurs. Like I'm working on a lot of things right now. But I remember having that conversation with my consultant friend. They're like, well, you lost yours, you're a dime a dozen. They can find anyone to replace you. You don't bring anything special to the table. I'm like, that's bullshit. Like do you see what I did with this thing? Like I had to sit here and relearn the software and then relearn how, well, I'd never relearned it. I had to learn, well, I did relearn it because I did work on that software when I worked with the business coach, but I had to relearn it, figure out the back end of it to make sure it did things right on the front end of it. Like I became a CRM manager. Like I spent, I want to say 6 months preparing it, importing contacts, and then creating the emails that went into it, and then actually releasing funnels that would go through the lead stage. Like it was a work of art. It is the most amazing thing I've ever made. And to this day, it's a career highlight for me because I've never done something like that before. But I'm like, I am not a dime a dozen. Like I took offense to this person's comments. Like I understand they do something I don't know how to do. And that's something that to me kind of stuck with me. Like, well, shit, do I need to learn how to do that service, or do I hire someone that could bring that service to my business? Like, I feel like this whole entire experience really gave, like, it just shot me in the ego. And then I think what made it worse was that this quote unquote director was talking mad shit about me at meetings, in public places, and I kept getting word back that those things were being said about me. And so I'm like, all right, so this person obviously doesn't know what they're doing, and they feel the need to insult me because they really don't know what the hell they're doing and they're feeling insecure. A lot of people at that company said wonderful things about me. They said great things about me. So that person didn't take that too well. And so for me, that's like, wow, like you're really insecure. Like you aren't doing right. I everything I said about you is correct. And so, and I kind of, I have people that still hit me up randomly and like, hey, do you know what they're doing? I was like, no, I'm not even paying attention. What happened? And they'll tell me this, this, and this. And I'm like, And sometimes it's people that still work there. And I'm like, yeah, I have no opinion. Like, good luck, guys. And, I'll be a little cocky about this, but I kind of was telling the co-CEO, I said, I expect a call by the end of the year. Something's going to happen and I expect a call to come back. Ironically, it didn't happen, but it does happen in another situation where change of ownership happens or change of leadership happens and the slate needs to be clean. In some cases, like in that last case, maybe if I had kissed ass a little more, I think the moral of the story of that was maybe if I kissed ass a little bit more, I could have survived that. Maybe the Thanos snap wouldn't have affected me, you know? And it's hard to say, honestly. And I really didn't want to apply for, I felt like that was really insulting to be given the quote unquote opportunity to apply to a job that I had already been doing. And on top of that, being given a demeanal fucking title to, like I didn't want to give up my nine. Like I didn't want to go back to a 9 to 5. Like this is my life. I come into this office at noon. Like I usually don't start working until noon. I get my workouts in the morning. I work for like 4 hours and I go back to like working out. Like, I mean, and then I go and do dinner and I go to bed. Like, I like my life. I have fought hard to live this life. I have my own freaking office. I sell Funko Pops, like I do Comic Cons. I travel. Like I couldn't see. And my mom was like, you should have just applied. I was like, no, because then I lose this. I lose this right here. Sorry, it's weird. I'm getting used to working on this wall. I would lose this. Yes, it would still exist, but part-time again? No. That's just, and so yeah, maybe I could have kissed ass. Maybe I could have. I mean, I remember at one point I did go out for coffee. I was like, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going to take my break. Would you like some coffee? I'm going to head to the Starbucks. Like, what's your drink of choice? And she was like, I'm good. I was like, oh, okay. So I did try. I stayed late. I worked on projects. On top of this, I remember, and this is where it drew the line. And I talked to the previous marketing consultant. I was like, one thing I don't like is that I am getting like, I feel like this is really aggressive. Okay. I would get emails at 6 a.m. from the new director. 6 a.m. I'm like, And I'm like, I don't work until 9. Like my start, even as a consultant, like my earliest I will start working is 9 a.m. And that, and I mean that because, I am on my phone. I am checking emails. If I have to respond back to somebody, I will. But like technically, physically, like I don't come into this space and like work until noon. But prior to that, like I'll get emails at the gym or whatever. I'll answer back or whatever. And so 6 a.m., I would wake up around 9. I'm not going to lie. I wake up at 9 and I had 10 messages from this chick. And I missed 2 phone calls. And then I had one from my other consultant friend. I'm like, why are all these calls so early? So I get on, I call my consultant friend and I'm like, what's up? And he was like, where the hell are you? I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you missed this, and this. I said, first of all, I'm not an employee. Second of all, I start at 9. Why am I getting emails at 6 a.m. and they're like, you want your job, don't you? Wake up at 6 a.m. and answer these emails right away. And I'm like, no, this is aggressive. This is like psychotic. No, I'm not doing this. And I remember writing back. I was like, hey, good morning. So I'm answering all these emails, blah, 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 blah. And she didn't like that. And I was like, damn. And so I know me and my other consultant friend had a really strong conversation about it. I said, look, that's not fair for me. I'm not an employee, 1. 2, that's 6 a.m. emailing is aggressive. Absolutely not. I'm a consultant. I set my own hours. I start at 9. And typically that is true even if I'm not physically here in this office. I start at 9 a.m. point blank because I have given and I have earned this right to start at this time. I lost that right. And he told me, nope, you're going to have to get up earlier. You're going to have to answer faster. You're going to have to be there for this person and help them through this process. I was like, this is bullshit. I didn't sign up for this. And so, but I did. I dug my heels in. So I would wake up at like 6:30, go to the gym. I would hear my email go off. By 7 o'clock, she would send emails again and again and again. And I answered them all. I'm like, yeah, this, and this. And so I tried, and I did that for almost a month. And I told the past director, I was like, this is bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what? We're not doing this. This is insane. And she's like, man, you just got to do what you got to do. And, but yeah, I mean, I did everything I could. I tried to walk out of there. She was like, one of the things that really pissed me off was as I left and I told her about the whole thing, like, hey, this is a custom project or whatever. She was like, so what is it that you do? And I'm like, I'm a marketing consultant. I do all digital marketing. She's like, good, maybe I'll refer you to people. I'm like, it's fine. I don't need a referral. I was like, thanks. Like the fake thanks. And just kind of walked off. I was like, not doing this. So in some cases you can avoid the snap. In other cases, you're going to have people that just want a clean sleep. And this happened with another, I don't know what it is. I think the beginning of the year and the end of the year is usually when these decisions are made. And that makes sense because I usually pick up clients around this time. Like I've had a couple, I actually just started working with a brand new client this month, and I'm hopefully start with a new one next month. We'll see how that meeting goes. But, it's a wave. I just had someone hit me up on Instagram say, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I said, well, do you even know what an entrepreneur is? And they're like, no, but I want to be one. You make it look like fun. I'm like, you know how hard this shit is? Like, do you understand that I could lose a job at any given time because someone doesn't feel a certain way or there's a change in management and there's nothing I can do to combat that? Like there are some cases like this case, I tried kissing ass. I tried all that shit. It just wasn't in the cards. And sometimes in the universe, if this is meant to be, then it's meant to be. You're going to lose that job. And that's the reason for that is because the universe is opening up the space to fill it with something else. And sometimes you just have to accept it. And like that one really hurt my ego. It hurt my ego so badly. Like I feel like I went through a little bit of a depression because I really loved that job. I really loved that client. I loved what they did. I love what they stand for. And on top of that, I had been wanting to work with them several years prior to actually working with them. Like it was on like the dream list of people you want to work with. And that's why I think it probably hit me the hardest was like, oh, now what? Like, it sucks. It sucks. And there's nothing you can do. And sometimes the universe says, you know what, Martha, let's move on. And the same thing happened this year. I had the exact same thing happen. Rewind a couple of months back, maybe 6 months back. No, 9 months back. I'm trying to think where I was. So about 9 months prior to this let go, I'm working with a client. We're doing great. We're rebranding. We're getting the word out. Sales are increasing, which is the point because whenever you rebrand somebody and you get the word out and you're working really hard on a brand, the point is to get people in through the door. And so I worked extremely hard. This was a client I was posting for maybe 3 or 4 times a day, really putting in the work. And again, I have a business owner that says, hey, I added a business partner into the mix. You may be hearing from this person, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And I did get a message, someone who was really passive aggressive saying, hey, this is so-and-so. Are you posting this, this, and this? I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, it was very aggressive. And so I'm like, I'm sorry, who am I speaking with? And they're like, this is so-and-so. I'm the manager of so-and-so. And I was like, one moment. So I hit up the owner. I sent the message over. I screenshot it. I said, I just want to make sure before I release any proprietary information, is this your new partner. And they look at the messages. They're like, whoa, yeah. I said, okay, I just want to make sure before I answered them. And they're like, wow, that was really aggressive. And I was like, a little bit. Maybe talk to them and maybe fine tune their communication skills with their consultants. And I said, hello, so-and-so. Yes, I am posting this, this, and this. I understand you're a new partner with so-and-so. Appreciate it. Looking forward to working with you. If there's anything else, please let me know. And they were just like, thanks. I was like, oh, okay. I remember because I know exactly where I was when this happened. I wasn't even in San Diego. I was traveling at that time. And when I get back to San Diego, I hit up the owner and I'm like, hey, so what's the deal? And they're like, oh, this is my new business partner. He has a lot of ideas on to boost X, Y, and Z. And I said, okay, that's understandable. You're a business owner. I'm a business owner. If I brought someone in, I understand that. And they were like, yeah, we're really sorry that this, and I was like, not a problem. And so the one thing that I took away from that conversation, when I talked to the owner when I was traveling, he was like, oh, he really wants to take over the social media. But I told him, no, you're running ads, you're doing this, you're producing results. We're not touching that. I was like, all right, that's cool. And I said, but here's the thing. And I said, I just experienced the loss with the last company with my James Gunn. I said, look, I understand new people come in. It's, I just experienced this, it's a trend. This is what happens. New people come in. The first thing they want to touch is social media marketing. God knows why, especially if they're producing fantastic results. He's like, no, I completely agree with you. We're not doing that. That's not happening. I was like, all right, great. So I continue to work with this person. Like every now and then he would text me, hey, I need this post up. I need this, this, and this. And then he would berate me a little bit. And I'm just like, I fucking hate this guy. And so I would talk to another manager and I'm like, hey, can you give me some insight on what's happening? And so they started updating me on what was needed. So that other person never talked to me anymore until there was a snafu with a post. And I said, hey, I have people showing up to your facility. You're not there. I was told you're here. What happened? Where is there a miscommunication between myself and you? And they really let me have it. They're like, I've worked with other marketing consultants before. You're not the first. And I'm like, I understand that, but we have mad people upset at your facility. We need to figure this out. And so they didn't want to deal with it. So anything. But anyway, after Christmas, which is so lovely, I'm like gearing up for the new year. I'm like, all right, we have X, Y, and Z we got to work on. We have this, and this. I'm counting the money flow. And I'm like, all right, projecting into the new year. I'm like, all right, this looks solid. And that we all do this as business owners. We have to map out the year in a way. And and it's funny because shortly after a conversation I had, I'm like, oh, I'm not making as much money as I thought I was going to make. And, I was applying for insurance and like, well, how much money do you make? I said, I don't know. And they're like, why not? And I'm like, because I'm a business owner. My money moves in waves. I don't know what I'm going to make this year. And that's kind of what happened. Lovingly being told to myself, I'm like, I got this. And then I get a call from the owner of that company I was working with. And they said, hey, so you remember so-and-so? I'm like, yeah, I do. And they're like, well, I am giving him full reign on this facility. This person wants to do a complete clean slate. I just want to give you the warning that you're probably going to get cut. And I said, okay, that's fine. I said, you have your invoice. You know what's due. Yeah. I said, if that's the case, he's like, just post up until the new year. And after that, and I said, okay. I did that, posted everything, got everything scheduled and done, and then kind of washed my hands with it. I'm like, okay. And then I always think in my head, there is no one that could do better than me. That's my toxic trait. there's no one that can do what I can do. And that's guaranteed. There's a special finesse. And I told this owner this. I said, look, I enjoyed working with your company. I really enjoyed the work I put in, writing these creative ads, getting people into the door, showcasing this. On top of that, implementing reels and really, really honing in on getting those views. Like, it's insane how much it takes to do that. Like, I've come to the point now, it's the new year, everything is on reels now. Like, my poor intern staff, they kill it every week. When we do our weekly meetings, I'm like, yo, you guys did this and this, like, fantastic work. Look at our analytics, they're going up. And and I just gave one of my girls their flowers. I'm like, girl, look at this shit, look what you're producing. And it's amazing, and it's very fulfilling. And so I was feeling that for this specific client, and they're like, no, you did amazing work. It is not, you're not losing this gig because of your work. Your work is outstanding. The thing is we have a new person coming in, they want a fresh slate. And I was like, whatever, this is what it is. And I'm just like, I'm like, this is the second time I've lost something due to change in management, a la James Gunn style. James Gunn, Thanos. The snap happened and I lost these jobs. And in one case, I probably could have tried a lot harder to save it. Didn't want to give up any of this. I dug my heels in and I said, no, I'm standing firmly ground on who I am and what I do. You either take this package or you don't. And, and then again, my wonderful colleague of mine saying, well, you're not that, not that special. You can't, there's a dime a dozen of you, blah, blah, blah. And it's just kind of, that, and I think that really hit me in the gut because I sat there for a full year thinking about it. Like, I need to make more money and I need to be more of a threat if people decide to cut our services, what they're going to lose. And then I experienced that with the one that snapped his fingers, wanted a whole new sleeve. I get a phone call last week and they said, hey, would you be willing to do an ad for us? And I'm like, what is it? And they said, look, we need this, and this. This person hired doesn't know how to do this. You do. Will you please work on this? And I'm like, well, I don't feel comfortable doing that because the way things ended with that. Like, I'm not really, I honestly, like, I don't know. And they said, oh, please, oh, we loved all your work and blah, blah, blah. I said, then you should have kept me. Because now you're gonna ask for one service. That one service is gonna cost half of what I was charging you. Like, when you leave me and you come back to me, expect those prices to go up a little bit more because you fucked up. You caused me grief and anguish, and you messed up my roller coaster graph I had in my head of how much money I was gonna make in the year. But that's the thing, is that sometimes people come back and they're like, hey, you really were good at this. We really need your help. And I think that's a true testament of, your work and what you bring to the table and how you accomplish these things. It sucks. It sucks so bad. I don't, and I tell all the interns during their interview process, I'm like, hey, look, all right, here is our client list. Here's who we're working with. I just want you to know we never, and I even say this to even potential clients. I said, we have never lost a job due to performance. It's always been due to circumstance. And they're like, what do you mean circumstance? I said, change in leadership. That's always the time that we lose a job. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I hate it. Is there any change in leadership on your end? And they're like, oh, no, we're the owner. We wouldn't do that. If, and I said, I get that, but I dealt with a couple owners before that did do that. So just to be clear on your end, they're like, oh, no, we're not, no, we're not going to do that. So those owners are pretty hands-on, but, I don't know. I mean, I think the answer is, just go into the situation. If that situation arises, be on your best behavior. Be very, very nice and very accommodating. Do what you can. I don't know if your job's at risk or not. But if the change in leadership happens and things look that way, just do your very best to just be nice and respectful, because again, you could use a referral. If they like you enough, you can always get that referral down the line. If they don't like you, then just try not to leave on a bad foot. I know when I walked out of that bitch's door, I wished her the best of luck. I was like, I said a couple things. They came off as quote unquote salty. And I told my consultant friend, I said, well, yeah, they were salty. Look what happened. How is it that I sat here and delivered millions of dollars in results and you kick me out? Like, I'm the one that got, canned. Like this person's job was saved because of their skill set. And I can't be mad at that because they did bring something else to the table that I didn't. And that's when I sat here and I was like, you know what? I need to be better at what I do. I think that was take the lesson and run. In some cases, you can't avoid what's about to happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to fucking happen. And that's all you can do. Like, at the end of the day, there's nothing else you can do. Just hope for the best. Be respectful, be nice. Hold on to your job if you can. But if it's not meant to be, the universe is telling you it's not meant to be. And if they come back and ask for your help, up the price, because it is a lot of pain and it's a lot of anguish. You had your year planned, and this year, last year was amazing, and because we had a lot more funds in our pocket, we could do a lot more things. This year, I'm scaling the fuck back. I'm like, no, I want to, and I think Roger Velasco, our dear client, said this. He's like, it's the rubber band effect. You're taking the step back, and then boom, next year you're going to be like popping. I'm like, that's the plan. I'm literally putting my nose to the grind and trying to do something that I have never done before. And it's taking me a little time to figure it out because I don't know what I'm doing. I'll flip through Instagram and I'll see other people that are in my space or in a space similar. And I'm like, let me download their webinar. Let me download this. Let me download that. And just to keep increasing my knowledge, my services, to make sure that something like this doesn't happen. The objective is to impress a James Gunn type figure and not be part of the snap. There's in some cases, I think you can avoid being terminated due to a change in leadership, and sometimes you can't. But just behave your best and work it out as best as you can, and keep doing the great work that you do. I think that's the overall takeaway I can give from that is, now because of these situations, I am working on a better me, on a more knowledgeable me, on an MDMC that can give you everything. Obviously, we're trying to be the one-stop shop. I want people to have everything that they need at their fingertips, and I can go into this a little bit. So as you can see, we have MDMC Entertainment. MDMC Authentics is our collectible store. You should see the inventory that we're going through right now. It is a mess, but it's amazing how much we've accumulated. Our next big appearance at a show will be WrestleCon. We will have D'Lo Brown at our table, so you'll see us there. I don't know what's next after that because, again, I'm trying to work and get this done. And I haven't officially launched MDMC Talent yet, but what that is, it's a booking agency component that we have implemented into our company because we do have people in entertainment that also need to get booked to Comic-Cons and stuff. And so we're working on that. And so we do have a couple clients on our roster. It's not huge yet, but I'm working on something. So just keep working, keep grinding, give it your all. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's literally all I can leave you with. Yeah, it is what it is. I think I've heard this. I've seen this on Instagram where people say the people that say it is what it is are the most dangerous because they don't give a fuck. They're just moving on to the next thing. And that's kind of how I feel, Um, there is nothing you can do. You have to push forward. You have to grind. You have to get there. And so it is what it is. Thank you so much for joining me on season 4 of Business Building and Beyond. I hope to give you more real life experiences. I'm hoping to give you more videos of our travels and our shows. We'll definitely have a really cool video for WrestleCon with D'Lo Brown. And we hope to give you some really cool content. We're trying to grow this channel. I haven't thrown any ad dollars here, but I think I will this year. I feel like people that have seen Business Building and Beyond, have been reaching out to us via LinkedIn and saying, hey, you have a really good knowledge base on this, this, and this. So, we are being seen, we are being heard. I mean, I look at my analytics weekly. A lot of you see us, a lot of you aren't interacting with us. So if you can please smash that like button and give us a like, give us a follow, give us some love. It's free to give love. Tell people about our channel so we can start getting those subscribers up. We appreciate your time. We hope this helps. Also, you can catch this video in the podcast form on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Pandora, iHeart. We're everywhere. Anywhere that you get your podcasts, look up Business Building and Beyond, and we are there. Thank you so much for your time. Yay to season 4. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.